Hi, and welcome to Cover Brand, where we cover all things branding, marketing, and advertising to help you understand what the hell branding is and how it works to grow your business. Welcome and welcome back. I'm Ethan Decker. Today on the show, I have a dear old friend and colleague, Guillermo Saenz. Guillermo, how are you?
Hola, Ethan. I'm doing great, man. It's great to be here with you.
How many years have we known each other?
Ooh, probably since '08, oh
I think it was
seven.
'08. When I started
Yeah,
Adventure, you were already there. And our first account was Wrangler, wasn't it?
that's correct. And I was a knucklehead on the business in general, on the agency business, and you took this guy that was just a field marketer, man, and you really helped me up level and upskill myself.
Nice. I had just come from 72 and sunny in LA, so I had a crash course in what the hell advertising was. But Integer was my first real. I felt like my first real adult job because it was branding, it was brand strategy, it was marketing, but it was also shopper marketing and kind of the less sexy, less fun, harder things to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I came from the music business when I got to Integer.
Wow.
So there was marketing on a totally different scale.
Right.
But yeah, I like coming from the music industry and just trying to figure out what the words were, what the jargon was, and trying to read
Right.
all of these books, like MBA and 10-day type books.
Yeah. The rules
And
of marketing, the rules of advertising.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
gave me one of the best books. If it was a book pamphlet, it was called Briefs, Not Pants.
Oh yeah, that was a pamphlet we made at the company. Craig
Yeah,
built it, and then I threw a bunch of stuff in there too.
I
Yes,
still have
briefs,
it.
not pants. About creative briefs and creative
Yep,
brief writing.
yep.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah, it's still.
Yeah,
That
it was a
probably
great
holds
one.
up. Yeah. So speaking of music, let's talk cover songs first.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Where do you start? When it comes to cover songs, there's so many. And I grew up in a Mexican household, and we listened to music all the time.
Mhm.
And you know, mariachi music sometimes it just hits home for me,
Yeah.
even now. And a
The
lot of it has
sweetest
been
of your
covered.
home. Yeah.
It is, that norteño music, but it's the
Uh-huh.
songs that tell a story,
Sure.
right? They're a narrative. It's not the formulaic kind of cookie cutter stuff, but
Right.
they're really weaving in a story in the song. And
Mhm.
the cover song that is probably played by mariachis anywhere.
Uh-huh.
But for me, like I have it on my running playlist. I have it on my, pre-meeting playlist.
Mhm.
It's a song by Vicente Fernandez called No Me Sé Rajar.
Mm.
And translated loosely, it's I don't know how to give up. It's not in my blood. It's not in
It's
my
not in my
DNA, giving up. Yeah.
vocabulary. Yeah, I don't know the word for giving up. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
When did the original come out? So it's been covered a billion times, but you still like the original? When was the original from?
Oh man. I couldn't
60s?
give you a date.
70s?
I'd be lying to you if
Uh-huh.
I had a date. We can
Okay.
Google it quickly if we want
Uh,
to.
well, it looks
The
like
Google's,
at least his one of his early albums was 1978, so that dates some of it. That's great. Is there? Well, we'd have to find out if there's a new cover version that's getting any play somewhere, but the originals are always really great as well. No,
yeah,
no me sé rajar. I don't know how to give up. I like
yeah,
that.
Ethan, you're working on
Okay.
your Espanol there.
Oh man, I can't roll my R's. My kid loves that I can't roll my R's or whistle. And I think it's a tongue thing or a genetic thing, but I just can't. I can sing, I play instruments, I cannot roll my R's. The rolling rocks of Rahar. No, won't do it. Okay. I have keyed it up for my playlist, for my running playlist today as well. No Me Sé Rajar by Vicente Fernandez. The OG. Let's cover some brand stuff now,
All
shall
right.
we?
All right.
Tell folks the
So,
situation.
Ethan, I we met at Integer, and a couple years ago, I was going through a program called the Latino Leadership Institute program,
Mhm.
and really got me thinking of how I could use all of the skills that I had gathered at Integer, in the music business, to really help communities that weren't being seen, weren't being served,
Mhm.
and that kind of moved me into working with a nonprofit here in Denver called Mi Casa, a resource center on their business pathways program. And what Mi Casa does is they take people who have, either started a business, kitchen table, or backyard, or
Right.
want to start a business, and give them the tools to build their business plans, to kind of understand the foundations of what running a business is and what being a
Right.
business owner is. And I was thinking back to the first, I started as a volunteer teaching marketing. And the first class that I taught was about value proposition and UVP. And
Right.
so the
UVP
slide goes,
being the unique value
unique
proposition.
value proposition,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And it goes up on a slide,
Uh-huh.
and this is a virtual class, but you could see everyone just kind of like zone out. Like,
Right. They're like,
what
what are
does
these
this mean?
3 really long
Like,
ass words that mean nothing?
so so it really got me thinking of how do we translate
Mhm.
the MBA jargon, the language, into relatable terms
Oh,
that a lot of these folks who are in survival mode, they were probably pushed into entrepreneurship
yeah,
because they lost a job or financial reasons. They don't always see themselves as business owners, so
right,
there's a bit of an imposter syndrome because you
right,
don't know the language, you don't know what's needed. So
right.
how do we kind of translate brand science, branding,
I love that.
to make it relatable?
I love that. And you're not talking about translating it into Spanish, but that might be another
No,
step. Just translate it
correct,
down to
correct.
the street, down to the level of people who have no training, no experience, no background, and like you said, they no self-image of being a business person.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember how like how I felt when all of these words were going and floating around the room, and I was a field marketing guy that
Yeah.
didn't know this. So I know that feeling. And so
Yeah.
it's how do we bring this to the folks that
Yeah.
are, starting their business,
Around the
getting
kitchen
out.
table.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And just doing it.
That's great. I love this because so many of these big words like unique value proposition, they obfuscate to use, to fight fire with fire and to fight big words with big words. It's obfuscation, which is to say it confuses stuff. It muddles shit up from the fundamentals. And so, for instance, here are a couple things that might be helpful to bring some of the brand science down to the kitchen table, to the backyard. One of them is that your job in building a company or a brand is to create a reputation. And people understand reputation because it's the OG of brand. And people have reputations, and people already know that companies have reputations. So you want to build a reputation for something. And if you're going to build a reputation for something, you need it to you need people to know what it is. So what's the thing you're pitching or selling or offering? And then you need something catchy or sticky around it. I call it a handle sometimes. Like what's the handle by which people can pick up your thing, your company, your service and get it? And so for instance, let's say you're a music promoter like you used to be, and you need to create a reputation for your music promotion company. Maybe your handle is a big red dog. I don't know. I just made that up. Or right? Or maybe your handle is um, a mascot that's shaped like a megaphone, and it's cute, but it's constantly screaming silly stuff at people because it's a megaphone face. Um, does that make sense? Like, just first of all, just the notion that a brand is a reputation, that people just
Yeah.
need to create a reputation and then
And
give people a sticky handle around it.
and in your neighborhood, that's what matters most, right?
Yeah.
Is what are you known for?
Yeah.
Or who you're recommending as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I I had seen some of your research on mascot versus celebrity.
Yeah. I
Um,
just posted a little thing about that.
and like, tell me more because a lot of times, when you're small, you do want to gravitate towards big, like, oh, what if I could get so and so to endorse this?
Yeah.
So how do you tell someone that's like kind of trained because we react to
Uh-huh.
the celebrity endorsement to
Yep.
take a step back and say, okay, what's that cue? What's that handle that
Yeah.
is easier for you to kind of build?
Correct. It's the mascot versus celebrity thing kind of said there's some research that's come out recently that if you want a character to link your brand to and you want that character to link back to your brand, mascots do a better job of that than celebrities because obviously celebrities have their own reputation, their movies, they might shill for other brands too. And so a mascot is a much tighter fit to your brand because usually the mascot is uniquely connected to your brand. So, like, if you see a mascot that looks like a human, but it's made out of white tires, you know it's the Michelin Man. And you might even think it's the Michelin Man and not remember, oh, right, Michelin tires. But the mascot and the brand are linked. So, what you can do is, well, especially now with AI, you can invent mascots pretty easily. Or if you've got a friend who's a designer, hire them. If you've got a kid who can draw, have them draw it. Sometimes the weirder mascot is the better one. Duolingo is a language app. Have you heard of them?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I don't use them. Do you use them?
No. No.
Okay. But have you seen their crazy green owl?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting out there. And so Duolingo, which is okay, it's an okay name, sure. And it's an app. So it's a very non tangible, non physical service. They've got a green owl as their mascot, and their mascot is a little unhinged. It does weird stuff. They killed it recently. It's kind of snarky to you. It says mean shit. And so the mascot brings a lot of character to this brand and also gives people an easy thing to grab onto when they're thinking about language learning. So
Mhm.
if you're a kitchen table company or a backyard company, the notion is you need to build a reputation. You need a lot of people to know who you are and quickly because you don't have time to just sit around and hope people discover your company. You got to get out there and let people know who you are. And if you have something like a mascot or something like a red dog or something like a parakeet or even just a color, pick a strong color or a color with a weird stripe in it. I mean, if I say I want a coffee and I want it from a company that's pink and orange and white, do you know what company that is?
I
Pink and
don't.
orange? What's the big coffee company with the donuts?
Oh, Duncan. Okay. All right.
Yeah, right? Dunkin', pink and orange. And if you see that pink and orange cup in the trash can, you know instantly it's a Dunkin' cup. And you don't confuse it with the coffee from the company with the like green mermaid character on it, which of course, Starbucks, right?
Starbucks. Yeah.
Starbucks. And so what does a green mermaid have to do with coffee? I don't know. I don't know what the hell it has to do with coffee, but it's a great handle for people to know wherever they go, down the grocery store, at the um, corner store, the gas station, and they want to get a quick espresso, a cold frozen espresso. They see that green mermaid in the cooler in the fridge, and they instantly know it's a Starbucks coffee, and they know what to expect.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the handle
Uh huh.
and a logo?
Well, the handle doesn't have to be a logo. Like the handle can be the founder. Maybe you're known like Tito's. I think when Tito's was launched, um, and that's a Texas brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. Uh, I think it was known very much because of Tito himself, who I think
Okay.
was an Anglo. I don't think he was a Latino dude to begin with, but nonetheless, it's got that air to it, right? Tito's, like it could be a Mexican guy. But
Yeah.
nonetheless,
Yeah.
Tito's brand, because the logo is crap. The logo looks like it was designed on a Macintosh from 1987. And I think that's part of the charm. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's a pretty ugly logo.
It is an ugly logo. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's a
like,
raw
that's
logo. Let's not
it.
call it ugly
Okay. Okay.
because
It's a
it's
raw
done the
logo.
job.
Yeah, it did. It did the job. It's a raw logo. It looks kind of lo-fi. And the notion is what matters more is the hooch inside and that it's low priced. High quality, low price, no frills. Tito was probably the handle himself, the founder. So the founder could be the handle. The logo could be the handle. If you want to gin up a cute logo, I certainly recommend trying to make a logo that's interesting or that people might literally want to wear on a ball cap or a rodeo belt, right? Or a track jacket like this one.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
I got my Dutch national track jacket jersey on, and it's a track jacket, and the logo here is like a one of those lions from the Middle Ages, the heraldic, right? The coat of arms. It's cool. It's badass. So if you can make a badass logo, that's awesome. If you've got a mascot, that's good. Again, like a really strong color can be the handle. T-Mobile, I think, took over the color magenta.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and a lot of these people
Uh-huh.
that we're working with, Ethan, like it's real easy because they hear you should get a logo first.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
how, like, if you have $100 to build your brand identity, where do you start?
Man, $100. Well, I guess, and to your point, if you're really just going door to door and connecting with your neighbors, maybe you don't need a logo. Maybe you need a really cool bag that your stuff goes in if you're selling stuff. Or maybe you just need a business card with your name, and maybe your name is in a nice script. And I mean, that is actually the Henry Ford logo and the Walt Disney logo. It's the Disney logo and the Ford logo are their names. And the Disney one particularly is very much his kind of his signature. And I think the Ford one used to be. Um, but you need, I think it's all to say, if you have $100, you need to get your info out there, your name out there. And if you can do it in a way that has a little bit of a handle to it, like and that's the branding part, all the sophisticated stuff about Gillette and its brand comes down to you can see that name, the Gillette name, kind of anywhere in the
Hmm.
store, and you recognize it instantly. And the I and the L's, they're sharp because it's a razor company, so it kind of feels sharp. And none of us remember that Gillette is the guy's last name, King Gillette, but that's what happens over
Well,
time.
isn't it? It's
Um,
the best a man can get. Is it? What wasn't that their tagline at
The
some point?
best a man can get. Yeah. It had a whole song. That was the last line of the whole song, which was kind of their handle for a while, right? Gillette, the best a man can get. And it even kind of rhymes, which is great. Well, clearly rhymes. And it's a double entendre, right? The best razor a man can get and the best that you can become helps a
Yeah.
man become
Yeah.
his best self.
All
So
right.
I don't
So
know, maybe go ahead. Go ahead.
we have reputation,
Yeah.
right? Critical. We have Q.
A cue.
What's
Perfect.
what's one more piece of brand science
A sciency
that
thing. Well, here's another sciency thing that does completely translate to the street. The um, the technical things are things like humans are mental misers, which means we think the least amount we can, and we don't want to do the toilet paper math, and we don't want to really pop the hood of the car before we buy it. We just want, our uncle to have a look at it if he's the car guy, but we don't want to think about it. So the mental miser element that people don't think much is connected to a lot of research that shows people really don't know about brands. They don't think about brands. They generally don't care about brands. Maybe one or two out of the 400 brands in your life do you really care about? But then you forget, like, oh, yeah, you don't want a relationship with your paper towel brand. You don't want to know much about your toilet bowl cleaner brand, or your salt brand, even if you get the salt you like best. But the way it boils down is people don't think much about you at all. So you should care less about what they think about you and care a little more about whether they think about you at all.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
this one supposedly goes to Eleanor Roosevelt too, but the notion is don't freak out so much about whether your brand is perfect. You should focus more attention on whether people are thinking about you at all.
Wow. Oh man. Okay.
Right? And that's street. That's very street. Like, don't stop freaking out about the color or the logo or whether your font is perfect or whether the design on the bag is great. Just get the bag out there in people's hands. Get your name up on the billboard. Doesn't matter if the Pantone color is wrong and the orange looks more rust orange instead of tangerine orange.
Well,
Just
who really
get
cares
people
about that?
thinking. Yeah, nobody really cares if your orange is the wrong orange. They
Some
just
people do.
yeah. Those are the ones who are deep in the weeds. But mostly people are just trying to get their groceries, go home, and go to their doctor's appointments. So your job isn't to craft a perfect brand image. Your job is to get people to think about you at all, first and
Ooh,
foremost.
okay.
Okay?
All right. All
Yeah.
right. Let me throw one out of you at you that probably is one of the most common topics that I hear
Okay.
is how is price a part of my brand?
How is price a part of my brand? Well, price does two things. Price, of course, um, it shows people how much your stuff costs, but it also shows people how much your stuff is worth. So price isn't just a reflection of the quality inside, price establishes the quality. So for instance, if you make jewelry, if you're a kitchen table business making jewelry and you sell your jewelry for 15 bucks for a bracelet, then that shows people the value of that bracelet. But if you sell it for 85 bucks or 200 bucks, people look at that and they can't help but think, "Ooh, that must be valuable."
Same bracelet.
Same goddamn bracelet. In fact, there are experiments, Guillermo. One of them actually from my old stomping grounds, New Mexico. There was a store. There's a whole road. The back way up from Albuquerque to Santa Fe has a bunch of small art stores and art studios and galleries and stuff. And a lot of people sell turquoise jewelry, silver and turquoise, classic New Mexican Southwest jewelry. And at some point, someone made a mistake, and their boss told them to reduce the price of all the jewelry in one of the cases. And instead, they doubled the price of all the jewelry in the case. And lo and behold, they sold more
Wow.
because
Wow.
it's same goddamn jewelry, right? Same, bolo ties and same big ass turquoise bracelets with all the silver. But because the price was so much higher than all the jewelry in the other cases, people assumed it was better. People thought there must be something special or unique or original about these bracelets and these designs. And it was a mistake, but it shows the power of price to establish value, not just to communicate value. If that makes sense. So
Yeah.
you got to think
Yeah.
carefully about how you're going to price yourself because it says a lot about you.
Does that trap you as well when you're trying to change your price or raise your
Well,
prices?
for sure. Don't start low and try and go high. That's brutal. That's hard. In fact, the Yeti coolers learned really quickly in experimentations that they could keep pushing prices. So before they went national, before they went huge, they came up with the 10x rule. They're going to price their coolers 10 times higher than the Igloo or Coleman coolers that are available. 10x was the rule. And was, is a chunk of plastic that Yeti rotomolds that valuable? No, but it established the value. And so that's why Yeti can charge $600 for a cooler when Coleman can only charge 60. They changed the game.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Yeah. I feel that as one of the things that I've heard growing up and is bueno, bonito, barato, like good, pretty, and cheap.
Right.
And in growing up, you also hear you can't have all three. That's
Right.
the And a lot of people are afraid. My mom was afraid to raise her prices on her
Yep.
tamales
Yep.
because even though people were willing to pay her more just to reserve tamales,
Hmm.
she didn't want to kind of create a brand that was now unreachable for the neighborhood,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And
that's
so
fair. That's legit.
so how do you break out of that trap? Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's a business.
Well, that's the psychology of your mother right there. Or anyone selling tamales or bracelets. That's hard because a lot of people feel like imposters. A lot of people feel like their stuff isn't quote worth that much, or they establish value based on their cost. How much did it cost me to make these tamales? And then they look around and compare how much are other tamales charging. And so, first of all, it's your mom or someone like that who needs to psychologically say to themselves, I can charge more and I can choose what I'd like to present as the value of my tamale or of my bracelet. So that's hard work. That the psychology part,
Yeah.
Guillermo, you know this really well. The psychology is hard. But then when it comes to establishing it, that's where if you make slightly nicer packaging or get a slightly better tin foil or a printed tin foil on your tamale that has your logo on it or your logo looks cute, right? A cute ice cream from a cute store with a cute name like Sweet Cow can charge 5 times what you can buy from the Walmart in the freezer
Yeah. Yeah.
because it just looks cute and you think it's better, or you say it's locally made or handmade, or Tito's thing, going back to Tito, handcrafted, I think is the phrase,
Yep. Yep.
right? Like it might
Handcrafted
be BS
vodka.
now because it's the largest vodka maker in America. It might be total bullshit. But the fact that it says that it's handcrafted, and maybe it was one day, and maybe they do still have a couple copper stills kicking around that they use amidst the masses of industrial equipment. But that's that little bit of stuff that the reputation, and you pile those up, something, a cute logo maybe, or a character, a nice color, the sticker feels good, that seals the foil, or the foil it has stripes on it, whatever those little elements are that make it feel special. Then you can increase your prices and establish that, oh, no, this tamale is worth twice as much as other tamales in the neighborhood because it's
All
got all
right.
that nice little juju.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, thank you for that, man.
You're welcome.
I started, and thinking of my parents, what I started to do was writing letters to them of if I knew
Mm,
then what I know now.
right.
And this is where a lot of this really started to surface, and they wouldn't understand none of this shit,
No,
none of these words.
no.
But they understand reputation. They
Yeah,
understand, like, what's your handle? They
yeah,
understand, pricing as value. But you're right, the psychological aspect of this is hard. It
it's
is
hard.
the hardest piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this was a nice couple of things that take brand science or brand strategy and simplify it and translate it for the kitchen table and the garage.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was, Ethan, and for me, I think the goal was with you was not to quote unquote dumb it down, right? Because it doesn't
No,
need to be dumbed down, but
correct.
it needs to be democratized, right? So
Yep.
more people, we've seen the numbers on informal businesses, but we've
Oh,
also seen the numbers of how many fail, right?
yeah.
So what are the small little things that they can do that
Mhm.
just give them better chances of success?
Totally, totally. And these sophisticated things about branding and marketing and brand strategy and brand science, they can be used by folks at home selling tamales and bracelets and being concert and music promoters from the kitchen table, right? If
Yeah,
little
yeah.
Guillermo knew that a cool, like a card, a business card, if you spend maybe spend 20 bucks of your 100 on really sexy business cards, like that feel good. When you hand that to someone and they go, "Oh shit, man, this is quality." Like that's a great there it is. That builds your reputation in this tiny, tiny way.
Let me just give you this really quick story on the business card piece. We were doing a focus group
Uh-huh.
for a brand that printed business cards and marketing material, global
Okay.
brand. And their whole positioning at the time, their communication was print it here, print it fast, print it in all of these colors. And we were doing a Hispanic focus group.
Mhm.
And one of the participants, as we were touring a store, we were doing, shopper marketing. We were walking the store with them.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
he very humbly asks to speak with me. And he says, I don't know how to say this without being rude.
Uh-huh.
And I said, just tell me, it's okay. And he says, I don't care. Said, What don't you care about?" He says, I don't care that you can print it and I can pick it up tomorrow. I don't care that you can print it in all of these things.
Right.
So, well, what is it that you care about? Says, I care about that when I hand you my business card, it can change the entire way that my family lives. That
Nice.
one interaction. And
Nice.
it totally flipped everything that we were doing on its head.
That's
Just
great.
that insight. Like there was so much emotion connected to a
Yeah.
business card. It wasn't just a functional transaction. There was
Yep.
so much to it. And for
Yep.
him, it meant my kids can go to college. I can buy the
Yeah.
new car. I can put on the new
Yeah.
roof at home. It meant so much more to him. So,
That's
branding
great.
without branding,
Right. Or doing the branding without using all the
without
fancy
knowing.
words.
Yeah,
Branding without knowing, right. And that is a great example because it doesn't cost much to make an interesting business card that feels good in the big scheme of things. And maybe that's all you need. Maybe you just need that thing that feels great when you hand it to someone. And that,
yeah.
maybe it's got a little cutout or a stamp or something. I don't know. But it has that vibe that you're proud of. You want to present an image or a reputation that you're proud of. And then that comes from you, the person at the kitchen table. And then for the person receiving it, you just want it to be sticky somehow, to be
Yeah.
a little memorable, a little interesting. That's why, an interesting color or a nice stripe or a cute logo or a mascot, any of those things, they are attainable, but they take a little effort and they take a little creativity for sure.
Órale,
But
órale, Ethan,
it
man, this
translates.
is great. Yeah,
It
thank you,
translates.
man. This has been great.
You got it. You got it. It's always great to see you and talk with you, Guillermo. You f-
Likewise,
you
likewise.
feature you feature heavily in one of my major brand strategy and brand science trainings. In fact, from a
I
thing we
do.
did
Yeah,
10 years ago.
it has been
Yeah,
a while, hasn't it?
yeah, yeah.
We need to
So
do a part two. Maybe we need a part two on that.
let's do that when I revise my next brand science training for Procter and Gamble or Kellogg or who knows who I'm going to talk to next. We'll do a part two and we'll update the section on the repertoire
I
of
love it.
shopping.
I
All
love
right.
it. All right,
Have
brother.
a blessed day. Great to see you.
Gracias, Ethan. It's great, man. Thank you for having me on.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Are you planning a big team offsite, a sales meeting, or a large company event, and you want to bring in a speaker who will blow people away? Then your first call should be Oprah. But if you can't get Oprah, call me. Also, if you got something out of this episode, think of one person who might also get something out of it and send it to them as a way of saying, hey, thinking of you.